This Rugged Ridge 20,000 pound XHD recovery gear kit is for those of you that have a 1987 and up Wrangler that are looking for a nice recovery kit that's going to include a little bit of everything. If nothing else, is going to be a great starter recovery kit, or it could just be your only recovery kit. This really does include everything that you would need for most successful recoveries, especially if you have a winch. This is going to be great to store everything in this little bag, throw it in the back of your Jeep, and have it when you need it. There isn't much of an installation to talk about with this kit, of course, but we will talk about the individual components and how they're used in just a second. So as you can see, this comes with a lot of components. It's going to make recoveries much easier to have all of the pieces and parts that you need, especially if you're somebody who has a winch on your Jeep. This is going to be a must-have. Now, Rugged Ridge does have this 20,000 pound kit. They also have a 30,000 pound kit for a little bit more similar components, just a little bit stronger, a little bit beefier. So if you want that extra weight, if you have a 12,000 pound winch, if you have a big, heavy 4-door armored up JK, if you get stuck in the mud up to the axles off and you want that additional strength, we have that kit available as well. And if you don't want to go with Rugged Ridge, there are a lot of other options out there as well. But I think that a kit like this in general is a great idea, and I think that this is a very fairly priced kit to get you started. So let's talk about the components that are included in this kit. Of course, right here you have the recovery bag. This is going to store everything. Over here you're going to have a 20,000 pound recovery strap, and here is a tree saver strap that is going to be a little bit shorter. The tree saver is so when you're using your winch and you're using a tree as your winching point, you don't have to wrap the line around the tree trunk. That can strip the bark off of the tree, killing the tree, and this is going to be much safer for you and for the tree. Here you're going to have 2 additional D-rings. You can never really have too many D-rings when you're in a recovery situation. These are going to be 3/4 inch, rated at 4 3/4 ton. Over here you have a Snatch Block. Again, for those of you that have a winch, you can double the pulling power of the winch with a Snatch Block. You can also winch in different angles than you otherwise would be able to. If you have multiple Snatch Blocks, you can actually get very creative with your recoveries. You can actually end up winching yourself in reverse if you ever needed to do that. So once you know how these work, they can come in very handy in some of those trickier recovery situations. This is a Winch Line Dampener, especially important for those of you with those steel lines. Of course, steel and synthetic both stretch under load, but when steel breaks, it snaps back because it has that energy stored in it, and that can cause damage or worse, injury. So a Winch Line Dampener, you put on the winch line right about in the center of that winch line. If it snaps, it helps the winch line to fall to the ground, and this comes with a couple of pockets here. You just load it up with some weight when you're using it, makes winching much safer. And last but certainly not least, you have a set of gloves here that's going to help keep you from getting any sort of pinches, any sort of splinters when you're working with all these recovery lines. And this is a really nice glove because it's a nice soft leather, so you're still going to be able to feel what you're doing when you're tightening down these D-rings, whatever else you might be doing. You can still have some feeling, but they're all still going to offer some good protection. So like I said before, not much of an installation with this kit. You're really just gonna unbox everything, throw it in your recovery bag, throw it in the back of your Jeep, so it's there when you need it. This kit comes in at $130. I do think that's gonna be a pretty fair price when you consider what all these components would be if you were to purchase them individually. I think you're gonna be right around that same price to purchase them individually, and this is a nice, easy one-stop shop. You make one click, you get all of these pieces that you'll need to make recoveries that much more efficient for you. Now, if you do want to step up to the 30,000 pound kit, that is going to be a little bit more expensive, but if this is going to work for the terrain that you wheel in and for the Jeep that you have, this is going to save you a little bit of money, and I do think it's going to be fairly priced for what you're getting. So if you're looking for a recovery kit to add to that winch you already have on your Jeep, making recoveries much more efficient and much safer, I definitely recommend taking a look at this kit from Rugged Ridge, and you can find it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.